We have reached a point in the story where Bruce has done something that I actually don't agree with for the first time. And it's a good thing, though. I kind of like it, but it shows you the direction this story is heading in. Also, let you guys know I'm probably going to be diving straight into spoilers right away because it is a single issue, but there's a lot to talk about in this because the Court of Owls is here. And I really like how now Zack Snyder gets to use a creation that he made himself and he gets to bring it back into the absolute universe. I really like that a lot. But here, Martha leaves Bruce a very important voicemail, and I'm going to come back to this later, but I'm going to explain it more in detail. Like I said, we're going to be going into spoilers, but she's meeting up with the old court, but back with Bruce in his battle with Ivy because Ivy actually wants Bruce on her side because if you all remember, I haven't reviewed them yet, but back when Bruce was stuck in Arkham, that's when Ivy first met him. Well, they didn't meet, but she saw him running around in the biomes. And also, we see that from the fire, the only thing that survived is her heart. Her heart's intact. They didn't think that her heart was alive anymore, so her mother thought she was dead when she left. And that was their last meeting, unfortunately. But that's when Ivy learned how to control her heart, and she began to grow, I think, around it. And the artwork is really crazy here. I really like Absolute Batman with chainsaws. It's really cool. But his communications get jammed because I guess there's a kind of bacteria that can jam radio signals, and birds can do it too. I actually didn't know that. But here we see she really wants Batman on her side because she explains why later on. But before we get into that, here's more of what's Bruce is going on as he continues to try to reach out to Waylon, to Oz, and even to Eddie. And Harvey's just gone though. He is like just straight up gone. So we have no idea what he's even up to right now. And then here Bruce even talks about the message he got from his mother, but he keeps hanging up on it because he's going to save it for when he needs to hear it most. But he's asking what's happening to him because Bruce kind of lost everyone at once. Like everyone at the same time, including his mother. And now he's in this crazy fight against Ivy. And his mask comes off for a little bit, but he actually gets it back on really quick. So nothing really too big happened there. But Ivy's about to release her spores on the city to transform everyone. And she wants to force Batman to evolve. And I really liked how in the last issue I talked about how well he adapts. And this issue shows that he's almost too good at adapting, as we'll see later on. But here Martha is here trying to convince them, the owls, to let her back in. And we actually find out something huge here that she used to be the Talon. And the Talon was pretty much their hunter, the one they sent after people, the best fighter in the Court of Owls, pretty much. Which means she might potentially have to fight Batman at some point because she's blaming Batman for what's going on, that he changed everything. And then Ivy even talks about it too, how Gotham is a city, but it's an ecosystem, a living thing, and Batman introduced something new to this city, like something foreign, and now it's reacting. And it's kind of true because everyone has been reacting to Batman, and everyone's been accelerating their plans because he showed up. And that's kind of what happens in main timeline too. Like, that's something that a lot of people don't notice. Batman's not really stopping anything, he's just delaying the inevitable because the pressure is going to build and it's going to explode at some point. So basically, would you rather have multiple explosions or one big explosion? And Batman's going for just one big one. And you can feel it coming. That's why I think Absolute Long Halloween is on its way. But we see that Harley and the Red Hoods are trying to team up with Batman. And he really needs to team up. And Dick is trying to go after him tomorrow, he says. So that's going to be interesting. Robin's got to be coming in soon because Bruce really needs some help here. He's really alone. And look at this. This is Joker. He's going by Jack Grimm. But look at him living the Bruce Wayne life. It's crazy watching him. He really does look like Bruce Wayne, like from main timeline in this shot. Pretty sure that's intentional. But these are the spores that Ivy is about to unleash upon the city, and Batman's trying to get her to stop. And it's actually, oh, before we get into it, here's another important moment between Bruce and Gordon. As in the last issue, we saw that Bruce knows that Gordon and his mom are hooking up, but Gordon also knows about Bruce. He says, "Bruce, I know." And Bruce says, "What are you talking about?" And he just stares at him like that. And he immediately knows. And I'm glad that Bruce finally had someone to talk to because he really needed it. And he's telling Gordon how he feels like he has to become something tougher, meaner. And then Gordon takes a guess of darker. But what he's up against is it's a lot. In this issue, how Ivy explains the city and how everything works, and just the power that the Joker has right now, it feels like it honestly does feel like Batman himself isn't enough to take on all these crazy superpowered beings because he's still just human. And Barbara Gordon actually shows up here to release him. She plays a really key part into this battle. Like just releasing him alone was enough. But I'm glad that she was there because he does need someone around. But as we see, he finally gets the sound. This is a sound gun that will separate her cells. And this is when Ivy finally realizes that they can't be allies. But she really wanted him on the team. I really wish they would have done this. And here, they're kind of arguing back with Martha. They don't like how she left the group. And I like this shot right here where she says, "You might as well pull the trigger." And then on the next page, it's Bruce pulling the trigger on Ivy. I really like that. But Bruce knows that the sound gun won't be enough to destroy her. What he's really after is her heart. Because Bruce noticed that her heart is the same as it used to be when she was human. She's been trying to force Bruce this whole time to evolve. But Bruce finally tells her that Ivy does climb, but it also clings. And she's holding on to her past self of that heart. And as Bruce is hanging, like holding her at gunpoint, we see a panel of Martha saying, "We are better than this." Gordon's saying that trees grow tallest when you care for their roots. And it's like those are the final pleas of them telling Bruce to think about what you're doing. And then, because Bruce makes, I almost forgot, because Bruce makes a deal with Ivy that he won't destroy her heart if she destroys the spores. Because she can regenerate her heart, but it won't be the heart that her mother held that we saw earlier. And she does. She destroys the spores. And she did it. But she talks about how Batman's just small, terrestrial, weak, and human. And then this is where he says, "Yes, I have been, but not anymore." And he turns the gun onto full power. We get another shot right here of Martha saying, "What are you?" And then he pulls the trigger and destroys Ivy's heart. And that's what I really didn't agree with because now she's going to be a full villain. She didn't have to be, but now she is. And I even talked about last issue how I felt really bad for Ivy, and I can't believe Bruce did this. And it's so funny. I just gotta say this because I seen someone complain about this, saying like, "Oh, if this is really out of character," and I was like, "Well, that's because it is out of character." Bruce is forcing himself to evolve now, because he's kind of freaking out about the looming threat of Joker, and just what's going on in the city. So this is his answer. This is how he's going to evolve, and it's not in a good way. This happens in main timeline too, where he goes over the edge. But in main timeline, he has a Robin. So, but here he has literally no one. And see, Barbara even asks why he destroyed the heart. He said that to fight what's coming, I needed to evolve. I just took her advice, but that's not. That's. I think that's going too far. And he thinks maybe everyone should start evolving. I don't know about that, but we see here that Bruce's evolution includes leaving everything behind. He finally stops checking in on his friends, on Oz, on Eddie, and even on Harvey and Waylon. And Waylon is recovered, and Bruce wasn't there to see it. Bruce is leaving his home behind, and like Bruce is finally not finally, but I think he's losing his moral grounding, because in the next shot we see that he's playing the message from his mom and he deletes the message. And just the way he's standing over the city, I I think he's going to start going way too far. But like I said earlier, the message that's important is we know now he's evolving and he's changing. He didn't listen to his mom's message, and in her message she says, "Just know that you'll always be my little boy, and I love you, and don't you ever change for anyone. You hear me?" The words that he needed to hear, he deleted it before she could say it. And this is like one of the first endings to an absolute Batman issue where I'm not left feeling hype. I'm left feeling kind of like a little bit of a somber tone, but also worried about what Bruce is about to do, because he's leaving behind his not morality, but his thing that kept him tethered to his human part of him is gone, and now I think he's going to fully embrace being Batman, and not in a good way. Like I said, I really feel bad for Ivy. He destroyed her heart. She can regenerate that, but like I said, it's not the heart her mother held, and that was everything. And here she calls Batman a monster after everything. She changed her mind from calling him weak and human to a monster. But I really enjoyed this issue. I like where this series is heading. If he does meet Dick in the next issue, Dick is going to meet Bruce at his absolute worst and lowest, and that's going to be really interesting. I really like this cover too. This week had a lot of cool variants. I just like this cover because it had everyone on it. The Court, Ivy, Barbara, and I just like the chainsaw look too on her. But yeah, this issue is really good. Again, I really enjoyed it. I can't wait for the next one to see how Bruce is dealing with everything. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you guys next month for some more Batman.